What's going on, guys? We are back with another video from the Video Game Guy. Today we're going to be talking about WWE 2K25, and man, do we have a lot to talk about. 2K Sports and Visual Concepts have been making and publishing WWE wrestling games for a while now, and ever since taking over, we have had over a decade's worth of wrestling games. With each iteration allegedly improving upon the last, I wanted to see just how far we've come. I wanted to see where the state of wrestling games were for myself. Now, full disclosure, the only installments of WWE 2K games that I played before this one were 2K14 and 2K23. Both decent but flawed games in their own right. With their latest release, I wanted to see something really different that would pave the way forward for newer installments to come. I wanted to see creativity and innovation, and this year's installment looked to bring some of that with some new game modes, a unified MyRise story, and enhanced gameplay. But at the end of the day, I had to keep my expectations pretty low because this is 2K we're talking about, and if their history is any indication of what we should expect, then we might be in for a rough ride. But before we dive any deeper, as always, I wanted to thank you guys for supporting and watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It'll help the algorithm push my content a lot more and help the channel grow. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into WWE 2K25. So, with multiple things to talk about, I figured we start with something simple like the Showcase. The Showcase is a game mode where players get to embark on a journey through some of WWE's most iconic matches. In previous titles, this mode had its own spin on things, and some of it worked, and I'm sure that others fell short of the mark. The one that I remember specifically playing through was 2K14's 30 Years of WrestleMania, and I remember enjoying it quite a bit. So, what exactly did they do this year? I'm glad you asked. This year's Showcase features the Bloodline Dynasty. Now, I should preface what I'm about to say next by saying that I haven't kept up with the WWE in recent years, but even so, this year's Showcase does a great job of not only making it an enjoyable playthrough, but also explaining exactly what the Bloodline is and how it got to where it is today. For those of you who don't know, the Bloodline is a modern wrestling faction whose lineage can be traced all the way back to the 70s. Between then and now, there have been several stars that have risen through the ranks to not only claim championships, but to also give the sports entertainment world some of the most iconic and reputable moments in history. Now, of course, if you haven't kept up with the WWE Universe, this could all be very new and confusing to you. But the way that they handled the Showcase this year makes it to where anybody can understand what the Bloodline is and their importance to modern day WWE. Paul Heyman, arguably one of the greatest promoters of all WWE history, is the one that takes the helm this year, and his ability to capture the audience is absolutely second to none. He does an excellent job of giving you some insight on the history of the Bloodline, while at the same time making it entertaining. The presentation quality in this game mode is top notch, and by the time you're done listening to him, you'll find yourself wanting to play through the different matches that much more. Watching old wrestling footage of some of the older wrestlers really gives you a new appreciation for the ones who paved the way for today's pro wrestling. It all felt really vintage, and the best part about it is that this year's Showcase makes you feel like you're going on a journey through time. And by the time you're finished with it, not only will you have an understanding of the Bloodline, but you'll also have a better appreciation for it. It's a good introduction to the game and brings you up to speed on one of wrestling's main storylines in present day.
With the first pick in the WWE Draft, Raw is honored to select the future of WWE.
There they are, the #1 pick in the WWE Draft, and wow, it's a good one.
Talk about making a splash. Adam Pearce got himself a generational talent.
We heard all the rumors, but seeing this play out now really lives up to the hype.
Good luck topping this.
This game mode is the one where you're able to create a superstar, which you can then use to play the story. In this year's installment, MyRise was supposed to be more compelling, with more focus on the narrative, meaningful decisions, and new features that would keep the player base engaged and entertained. Unfortunately, it fell short in all three areas and more. For starters, the story was terrible, and there was absolutely nothing compelling about it. This has got to be some of the worst acting amongst characters that I've ever seen in recent memory. The dialogue felt forced, their interactions were awkward and predictable, and nothing came across natural or fitting to the bold and brash persona that I originally chose for my character to begin with. The meaningful decisions that you had to make felt meaningless with the exception of a select few, and all in all, I couldn't wait to be done with this part of the game. I found myself skipping over some of the dialogue in later parts of the story just to get done with it faster, because it all felt like a chore. In order to get the full value of MyRise, you had to beat it multiple times in order to unlock all the storylines, but to me the unlockables and the different paths just weren't worth it. Now if you're a super fan and want to unlock all the different attires, the superstars, the moves and arenas, then maybe it might be worth going back to play it, but for me it just wasn't. The only way that I would go back and play MyRise is if I could skip through all of the dialogue and cutscenes, but even then you'd have to be careful or you won't unlock the correct storylines to get the rewards that you want at the end of it all. Above all else, the thing that really bothered me about it all is that I really wanted to see my character have his own heel-like persona. I wanted to see him climb through the ranks, negotiate contracts, and have a meaningful story. It would have been so cool to see him work his way up to facing the different baby faces of the company. How cool would it be to have creative input on your own career? Imagine having the freedom to interact with the crowd based on how they interacted with you. I wanted to possibly choose a mentor, a gimmick, and overall I just wanted more creativity and freedom to dictate my character's rise in the WWE ranks. But instead, what did we get? A shallow story about an NXT takeover with superstars that nobody cares about, terrible acting, terrible matchmaking, and absolutely zero character development. Their whole premise didn't even make sense to me. Since when is a WWE superstar over with the fans from the very beginning of their career? Especially one that was supposed to be prideful and egotistical like mine. The one highlight that I could say about this game mode is that at least you did get to create your own character. Now this is where you'll have the most freedom and control. This character creator is very well organized and does offer a deep variety of different customization options that give you a lot of creative freedom to make your character appear exactly how you want. You can customize your movesets, appearance, attire, and entrance. But of course, they managed to piss me off here too, as I faced multiple hard crashes while creating my entrance. The worst part about it all was losing all of your progression and having to start your entrance customization over. Oh, and apparently, I'm not the only one. There have been several reports of different bugs and crashes throughout the game, and although I didn't experience all of them, the fact that these things are still happening in a game that you have had years to perfect is absolutely unacceptable. But wait, there's more. You didn't honestly think that a game published by 2K would be free of any microtransactions, did you? I mean, come on, this is 2K we're talking about, right? Now, granted, at least in the beginning, they don't seem as invasive, right offhand. But if you think for a second that 2K wouldn't try to make you spend more money on digital garbage, then you are absolutely kidding yourself. Don't believe me? Take a look for yourself. Guys, this right here is what's ruining modern gaming. This bullshit right here is what's ruining modern gaming. It's so obvious that this is just a cash grab. Look. Let's go right here. Look. Watch. Don't believe me? Pay attention to your screen. Pay attention to your screen. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all of this. Why are you guys charging me for this? You already charged a premium for the game itself. $70. If I want to customize my character with any sort of attire or alter his appearance in the slightest, you're going to charge me money to do that? For simple cosmetics and attire changes when you already charged me a premium? Are you serious? But this is absolutely asinine. The fact that you're charging me for hairstyles in the game is absolutely insane, when in another game mode you had hairstyles for free. God, I wonder what they're going to charge me for some shoes. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they're going to charge me for a pair of sneakers. Let's see. 18,000 credits is what I need for a pair of shoes. And that shoe looks the exact same way as that shoe right there. That shoe right there looks the exact same way as that shoe. The difference is the damn color. What is this shit? Why is this in the game? What is this? F you, 2K. Now, as I previously mentioned, this was supposed to be one of their biggest highlights of this year. An online hub where players could face each other through creative matchmaking and do side quests using their own created characters. But as you just saw, it is blatantly obvious that all they wanted was to find a reason to charge players more money. And for what? One particular hairstyle? One pair of shoes? One pair of slides? One mask? The whole thing is a slap in the face to wrestling fans who bought this game excited to see some real innovation. The archetypes that you can choose from are all general and give you no reason to get excited at all. The side quests they introduced this year are all tedious and boring. The character creator appears to be more limited than in other game modes in the same game. There are loading screens for just about everything except walking, and the matchmaking absolutely sucks. Around the island, there were supposed to be matchmaking points spread throughout that allow you to enter a queue to be matched up with a random player. There are only two reasons why actually being paired with someone should take so long. Either players genuinely didn't want to face me and kept declining a match with me, or they were confirming the match like I was and the servers were just not letting us play. After looking at several forums, several players reported to have the same issues. Why on earth wouldn't your servers on your brand new game mode not be a top priority? This was supposed to be one of the main reasons to buy your game this year. And this is what you give us? A generic and weird looking island, limited customizations, bad servers, loading screens for just about everything, and a surplus of absolute digital garbage. Hell, you don't even get voice acting in this game mode. Instead, when interacting with an NPC, this is what you get. Yeah, that's right. You get a still picture with some of the cheesiest dialogue that you get to read. Because, of course, they were too lazy to at least incorporate some voice acting. MyRise had terrible voice acting, but at least by including it, you showed me a little bit of effort. And after all of this, you have the audacity to ask the player base for more money for a game that you A, already charged a premium for, and B, could be considered a copy and paste from last year's game and the game before that? You see, things like this are an absolute cancer to the gaming community and deserve to be exposed. This is one of the biggest reasons alone why you shouldn't buy the game. After my experience on the island, I genuinely didn't want to continue the game, but I have to say that I did have some fun doing other things. MyGm, for example, was a game mode that I never really tried in previous years, so playing it here was a first for me. I genuinely enjoyed my time while playing this game mode though, and can honestly say that if it's your first time, you might feel the same way. I was pleasantly surprised to see just how extensive this game mode did get. The first thing you do is choose someone to be the general manager of your brand. The likes of Paul Heyman, Teddy Long, Eric Bishop, Mick Foley, and Adam Pearce were all available amongst others. Each GM gives you a specific power card that gives you an advantage when competing against opposing brands. Some increase logistic bonuses for arenas and different venues, others intensify rivalries between superstars, and there are others that increase effectiveness of your promos for the week. The brand you choose also gives you its own advantages over other brands. While choosing your brand, keep in mind that the whole point is to retain and gain as many fans as possible, while generating the most revenue and putting on the best matches between superstars. After choosing a brand and GM, you enter a draft in which you'll select the stars that you want representing your brand. Contracts for different superstars vary, and it's up to you to select a good variety of superstars that will give you the best matches. Each superstar has different stats to pay attention to, like popularity, stamina, in-ring experience, and fight styles. It's important to note that certain fight styles pair better with one another, which will enhance your match quality in the ratings. For example, fighters match well with brawlers, so booking superstars like that for a match increase your match quality. The higher the quality, the higher the rating. The higher the rating, the better the results. I love how everyone starts off with the same budget and how you can essentially manage where the money's spent and how it's spent. It was also very impressive to see all the curveballs this game mode did throw at you while you were playing it. Sometimes it would be superstars wanting more money or time off, and other times it was other brands who would prevent you from either booking your most popular superstars or who would make everything a lot more expensive that week. I love this dynamic because it kept things unpredictable, and having to strategize and think my ways out of certain situations and unexpected problems brought with it a sense of realism that anyone can appreciate. I really enjoyed the freedom that this game mode gave its player base and loved the attention to detail. Giving you a certain amount of money to start off with and then letting you choose how and where to spend that money was awesome, and seeing the breakdown of your results at the end of each show really made you feel like what you were doing mattered. So bear that in mind going forward. If you never played this game mode, I suggest you try it. MyFaction, a game mode that I chose to play after MyGm with high expectations because, again, I've never played this game mode in past games. In this game mode, you have something called World Tours and another called Faction Wars. In World Tours, you go to a series of different locations to face a number of challenges that will reward you with XP. Some matches would also reward you with booster packs that will give you either random in-game currency, perks that you can attach to different superstars, and tokens to acquire new cards that unlock different superstars to use. Faction Wars was a game mode in which you chose a team of 4 superstars that you've unlocked to compete against other superstars in different factions. In this mode, you would play through a series of different stages until you eventually lost and started all over from stage 1. Throughout each stage, you would choose different paths that would inevitably lead you to the final boss of that stage. The idea being that the higher the stage, the higher the difficulty level of your matches. At the end of your run, you would earn different faction credits that could be used once again to unlock different cards and booster packs. Although these two game modes weren't quite as bad as the Island and MyRise, it was still pretty bad and tedious. For one, the whole game mode felt very repetitive, as you find yourself facing most of the same superstars over and over and over again in the same type of matches, with little to no variation. And the rewards that you would eventually earn were all very underwhelming. The perks that you would get didn't really feel like they had any bearing on your superstars, and the actual gameplay wasn't really that great. Mostly because in this game mode, all the superstars were nerfed and run out of stamina right away, which made matches longer than they needed to be and annoyingly difficult at times. It all just felt like busy work to me, and of course, once again, 2K tries to get more money out of its player base by charging for digital garbage like card packs. There's no real value here, and you can skip right over these game modes, and I promise you, you won't miss out on anything. Now, by this point, after putting several hours into the game, I was really reluctant to continue to play, but I had one more game mode to get through and to play. That game mode was MyUniverse. Although MyUniverse isn't a game mode that took my experience to the next level, it still wasn't the absolute worst. This is a mode that offers players the opportunity to really make the WWE Universe their own, and the creative freedoms that players get with this mode really enhance the overall experience. You have the ability to book your own matches, cut promos, choose your champions, edit matches, and even choose rivalries. You also have the option to play through a series of scheduled matches or simulate right through them to get to the actual matches and events you want to play in. In theory, this all sounds great on paper, and while some of it is fun, the biggest problem that I had with this game mode was the execution. For example, being able to cut promos as a wrestler sounds like it can be really fun, except that in this game mode, the wrestler doesn't actually say anything. Instead, you get gestures and commentary.
Well, it looks like he's getting exactly what he wants.
And now we're going to hear just what these two superstars have to say to each other.
I have a feeling it won't be friendly. You can cut the tension here with a knife.
He knows exactly what he wants.
But will he get what he wants? Only one person has that answer.
No? He's really letting everyone down.
I think he does.
The rivalries are missing intensity, and there are no real storylines. Just choosing a rivalry and not actually seeing one form or develop makes it feel like there was no real thought or effort behind this feature. Cutscenes felt basic, and the whole thing just came across as lazy to me. There were no show intros, no worthwhile dialogue options, and your champions don't even have their belts on them while cutting promos. Does that scream effort and next level to you? Not me. Again, this isn't the worst game mode, but there really didn't feel like there was any real innovation here. Although this mode had some really good ideas and concepts, the execution just wasn't there for me. If they would have just taken their time, they could have really made some worthwhile enhancements to this game mode that would have taken this game up a few notches. But instead, they chose to release a half-baked game with some of the same issues that previous titles have had, all because they wanted another yearly release to charge players more money. To be completely fair, gameplay-wise, I will say that the game did feel and run smooth, and the transitions between different moves felt seamless. The in-game physics felt similar but were good, with the exception of a few moments here and there, and playing with friends is really fun, if the servers actually let you, and they don't act up, that is. Creating your own matches is cool, although familiar, and all in all, the game did have its moments where I found myself actually enjoying myself. I gotta say, the AI still does some pretty stupid things at times, but that felt more comedic than anything and never really hindered my experience, except for maybe a few times during faction wars. Wrestlers, for the most part, played and felt how they were supposed to, and although commentary was repetitive, it was okay. And the new camera views during your entrances were pretty cool, so I can't say it was all bad.
Oh, man. Shucking the steps right into them. Whoa. Just macerating the opposition with those steps.
When I think about my overall experience with the game, I mainly think about how it made me feel. And although this game did have its moments, it just fell short of the mark. Playing through it at times just felt like a genuine chore. Some of the game modes felt redundant and tedious, and the overall game came across as lazy to me. It lacked execution in some key areas that would have taken it up a couple notches, and I genuinely felt like all they cared about was making another quick buck. The island was an absolute slap in the face to its fan base, and your created character story was lackluster at best. The real enjoyment came from playing with other friends and from MyGm, but those two things alone don't warrant a $70 premium, especially because there weren't any real new additions to the game. For those reasons, WWE 2K25 gets a 5 out of 10. It's an average game that can be a lot of fun at times, but that underwhelms in the most important areas. It doesn't really add anything revolutionary, and the whole thing reeks of corporate greed. Still, if you wanted to pick this game up to play with friends, I wouldn't blame you. Just not at a $70 price.
Via a wicked punch to the stomach. A complete stalemate of reversals here. Neither one giving it.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I know it was a little longer than my previous ones, but I really wanted to try to give you guys an in-depth review. I appreciate all the support. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Sorry it took me so long to come out with this one. I am trying to post as much content as I can, but I am a one-man army trying to balance everything in life. So bear with me as more content does get posted later on. Again, thank you guys, and as always, be on the lookout for another video from the Video Game Guy.